For all those who appreciate the work that we're doing here on Standing for Truth, please hit that subscribe button because we are just getting started.
This is Barry in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Hey, Barry, welcome to the show.
Hello, JV. Listen, for Kent, I'm a retired biochemist, and I believe very highly in the scientific method. And I'm not sure whether you've got a screw loose or whatever, Kent, but somehow you've gotten this belief, well, they've already proven through the scientific method, the archaeologists have, that Göbekli Tepe in Turkey is 12,000 years old at least, and they've only excavated 25% of it. What do you got to say?
Well, that's interesting. If you're a chemist, then how about let's schedule a live debate on my program, Kent Hovind Official, and let's talk about that. I think how did they determine the age of that? I'd like to see the specifics on that. It's not possible. First of all, 12,000 I don't think it's true, but that's nothing compared to 4.6 billion, which is what they're claiming the Earth is. These civilizations, they usually try to date them with carbon dating, which is based on real obvious assumptions. A freshman law student could tear up any carbon date in a court of law. You'd have to assume that you know the initial content of the object. You'd have to assume it's always been consistent. You'd have to assume there's been no contamination. We know for sure that radiocarbon is still increasing in the atmosphere. That's been demonstrated over and over again. If radiocarbon is still increasing in our atmosphere, then you can't carbon date anything because you're taking today's percentage of radiocarbon, 0.0000765%, and assuming that's what all animals started at. That's the problem. It's just simply not true. So I covered that in my video number 7 for probably 30 minutes about all the serious flaws of carbon dating. And everybody I've debated on the topic would say, well, yeah, Kent's right. We can't carbon date things based on radiocarbon dating or uranium dating or any dating method because there's just real obvious fundamental assumptions. So I'd like to see how they dated that village you're talking about. They certainly, I'd be willing to bet money they used the totally flawed radiometric type dating methods based on obvious assumptions.
Barry, thank you for the phone. Yeah, thank you for the phone call and the question as well. And I think that kind of comes down to the point, Kent. One of two things has to be happening: either they're right with this science, or their methods are incorrect. So it's got to be one of those two things.
There is a way to put carbon-14 dating to the validation test, where we can see how accurately it can date items of known ages. This is exactly what the British Science and Engineering Research Council did when they conducted an international blind study on carbon-14 dating by sending out artifacts of known ages to 38 of the world's leading carbon-14 testing laboratories. The results? Only 7 of the 38 laboratories produced dates that were even close to the known dates of the artifacts. That's only 18% of the laboratories in this international study. The rest, 82% of the laboratories, produced dates that were across the board, being off by even thousands of years. Given the short half-life of carbon-14, only 5,730 years, organic materials that are supposedly older than 100,000 years, which is about 18 half-lives, should contain absolutely no detectable carbon-14. However, coal, diamonds, and even dinosaur bones contain plenty of carbon-14. These coal samples carbon date to be between 40 and 60,000 years, but they are sandwiched between geological layers that are supposedly 34 to 318 million years old. So, which age are we supposed to believe? Maybe they are all wrong. In fact, these coal carbon-14 results show that the plants that eventually became coal were uprooted at about the same time, demonstrating that the tectonic upheaval occurred during Noah's flood when the fountains of the Great Deep ruptured according to Genesis 7:11.